So, so yeah. Regarding autoethnography, I feel like it's kind of like poetry in a way. You're exploring your connection to the world and looking inward at yourself. Perhaps I don't have as fine an understanding as you do from, just recently learned this, and it's something to look into. But I kind of, maybe it's like poetry is a window into exploring that.
Poetry is a great form for doing it. And autoethnography of recording the moment, recording the scene, and poetry as this crystallization of language is such a perfect form for that.
Indeed. So I wondered, Mike,
yes,
aka Mike's Sonksen, blah, aka Mike the Poet, would you want to crystallize some language with me and glide this effervescent infinity freedom train, and hopefully the books on your shelves don't fall upon you, and then we mourn you with poetic license to live, also known as the OTSCE, the On the Spot Collaborative Poem.
let's go.
Yeah. So I kind of have asked you to put a few books out. So here's the name of the game, listeners. Make sure to do it at home, safe distance, wear masks, whatnot, the whole spiel, or with your friend over the phone, whatnot. OTSCP, what we do is I have a few books laid out. I can see both pages of each. And so wherever my and Mike has as well, and wherever our eyes go, so I see a few words or something, and I string them together of these words and create lines by stringing them together, and whatever constitutes a breath or a pause, then it's going to go back to Mike, and it's going to go back and forth. So, Mike, would you please let us know the authors and titles of the books you have selected?
There's quite a few around me right now, but Good Morning Revolution by Langston Hughes, We Gonna Be Alright by Jeff Chang, Chicana Artavista from Martha Gonzalez, Letters to My City from myself, and Everything Must Go from Kevin Koval.
Okie dokie. So what I have out is let me see, this is Escape Velocity, David Breskin. I have out to pages 22 and 23. So it's Just Asking poem that's out. They have William S. Burroughs' Naked Lunch, pages 220, 221 out. Then I have, and this is a really interesting book, I have Indigenous Coexistence. Oh, it's Being Together in Place. Indigenous Coexistence in a More Than Human World by Soren C. Larson and J.T. Johnson. I was reading for a class at Pittsburgh College. I had that out to pages 158 and 159. And they have I have Durkheim, The Rules of Sociological Method, out to 22 and 23. Okie doke.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Would you like to start?
I'm going to start with Jeff Chang's We Gonna Be Alright.
Yeah, so yeah, you would just use all of them, all the books together.
Okay.
Of just random words. So, for example, if I see the word relieve on one page, and then I see Manakatanga Mori, and then I see Just Asking, fact attempt. So I say all that, and that's one line that constitutes a line, and that goes back to you.
So we're just going one line at a time.
Yeah, well, we're doing is I'm just going with, we're doing whatever words we're drawn to on the words that we see that are on the pages open, and we string them together and go back and forth, kind of like a cut up, a Burroughs style cut up of individual words. Could be lines, but of individual words in exquisite corpse style.
We used to call these sarong songs, and the way we used to do it was we would trade fours. We would do about 4 lines each, and then the other one would go.
Yeah, for OTSCP, we do 1 line each.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then let's go. Okay. Gloria Anzaldea, George Helm, and Jessica Hagedorn all realize that in-betweenness can create the stuff of epics.
Histamine release dung beetle aardvarks garden to backwater method in terms of Manakatanga.
I had been invited to come down to the shore from Lincoln University, where I was a student, to give a program of my poems in the church.
Apomorph is certainly the best protein, except for nothing but thinking. Specific idea of myself I abandoned.
I grew up in Los Angeles watching Laker championships, Magic Johnson, Shaq, and Kobe Bryant.
Superimposed, I know the brain reels an abbreviated form of Maury.
At least the diners stay open late. The ham bone in on Western, the long car on Irving, and even that White Palace off of Roosevelt.
Thorazine results, psychology, dung, broccoli, but facts which do not present categories of facts are withdrawal drugs to relapse, slaughter plants.
Although we were grateful for the recognition, the emotion we felt was like having Santa Claus come to your home when you didn't even believe in him anymore.
Forgetting the Treaty of Waitangi, settler expansion is the acute symptoms. My stomach is bad already.
The word citizen confers rights, rights that are invisible, that really appear only when they are denied.
Like negligible vision.
I want to propose that it's worth distinguishing between morality and moralism.
Severe reduction and leg cramps.
My argument is not principally concerned with the details involved in these or various other similar legal actions.
For 72 hours, return to sleep.
On the other hand, in the North, the tendency is to emphasize the radicalism.
Be horrified. Would you ask my child complete this word, reestablish above double marijuana, cocaine, withdrawal, barbiturates?
If you climb faster than the others, you will reach the place that you have dreamed of.
From relief, offset by dubious evening benefits.
Uncovering a series of marks, an outline, a passage, a record, or physical indication.
The brain reels intoxication.
With an understanding that love is indeed the motivation.
As the 1960s spiritual force, where they try the treaty itself and suffered the protein like me or prophets, I kill and say we.
Protest of moral and historic force begins with people facing extreme vulnerability.
They consume you, not pose, not pose. No, no, no. I know the pain. Don't explain struggle. I see great individual waves gathering among definition, implications, and experts.
The vision of life that rises before these dark eyes has it nothing mean or selfish.
Unmitigated, to give some backwater to islands of relief.
The sailor and the steward, a short story over in an ocean.
Sui generis, grain against reality.
Twyla Tharp told me to keep it moving.
Indica reality, oh, more limited, none.
This analysis holds an important lesson for the increasingly imperial United States, when there is nothing left to fear except in our age of terror.
Except in late night exhaustion, nervousness for which morphine is forgetting. And morphine is the outlet for British settler life.
Emissaries called upon to heal Los Angeles children of chaos.
It is common, but necessary.
Tradition in the Black Atlantic.
Qualitatively, more quantities judge who they are.
It's May and crisp. An apple, the 16-inch softball players, all of them wearing long sleeves beneath the insurance agency.
Like guillotine immigrants, cigarette firing squad, callous eyes with a conscience arrived spontaneously with weight and pressure.
Recordings, lyrics, and performances of these songs stand to be remembered, revisited, reconstructed, critiqued, and honored.
I know of a man who persists himself accordingly.
Future generations says, we gonna be all right.
The impression is a common emotion derived.
Every day we get a little bit more illegal.
Refracted by a different kind of bay.
Stretching, complicating, broadening his oeuvre, he challenges and expresses what might be possible in the space of a poem.
What we eat, consumed you, the crown, the dialogue.
I bow down to them, I remember them, I ask them to forgive me, but all I see is you.
Vomit, I also tried.
A key component of Japanese religion and culture is the idea of ancestor veneration.
Dubious cortisone, I'm just asking those pantyhose how they house idea.
Come on in, our space is for everyone.
Other facts already crystallized.
She taught me how to plot a novel, which my MFA program never did.
It will make you feel the blood.
A few nights later, I'm up writing shortly after midnight.
Nearly forgotten the vision.
I hear distant cries of quarreling lovers.
Whatever I never noticed for 72 hours.
After a few steps across the street, I remember I decided to go back in the house.
Late light, unmitigated disaster makes you feel worse. Doesn't stand a chance. But the joy, the laughter, the tanga matiga, the peka matori, a full sharing in tendencies to govern willingness ourselves along disguises of war, pressure, and normal alcohol.
What moralism had to confront was the nature of commodified postmodern ethnicity, which we could describe as the Benetton model.
Disturbances are quite normal in this nightmarish asking.
The gangsters of the world are riding high, and it's not the underworld of which I speak.
I think that's a good ending. There you go.
Well, those are fun.
Thank you so much, Mike. Yeah, so
thank you, Josh.
So that's an OTSCP. It's slightly different, the way you do the words out. Slightly different. It's a variant. Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of fun, and I've done, a lot of versions of those over the years. So it's something that was pretty natural for me. I ended up even grabbing more books than I had originally started with, but it was just fun,
Yeah. Would you share first the books you used, the other ones, please?
I use Langston Hughes' Good Morning Revolution. I use W.B. Du Bois' Souls of Black Folk. I use Henry Louis Gates' Traditions in the Black Atlantic. I use my own Letters to My City. I use Chicana Artavista's Martha Gonzalez. Used Everything Must Go by my man Kevin Koval. I use We Gonna Be Alright by Jeff Chang.
I hope so.
I use Every Day We Get More Illegal by Juan Felipe Herrera. And I use Paul Gilroy, Post-Colonial Melancholia.
Great title. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joshua. Hey, man, you got a lot of heart. You're a good man. I appreciate all you're doing.
Yeah, and where can people find your work? If you could say, also your articles you write so that people can find that.
There's over 200 essays of mine on kcet.org.
Right.
And my book, Letters to My City, is around in independent bookstores such as Stories Books in Echo Park, but also it's online on obviously Amazon.com, but also the Accomplices and Letters to My City is online. I had an earlier book called I'm Alive in Los Angeles. There's a number of YouTube clips, a number of pieces, and a lot of my work is online, and there's plenty of different pieces out there, and Letters to My City, and we're working on some new projects as well. So here's to the future, and build the bridge, lay down the bricks, fill in the ridges, stack the sticks, feed the fire, consider the cost, take it up higher. The city is ours. LA! Joshua, thank you, brother.
Thank you so much, Brian. Have a beautiful, blessed, and groovy day.
You too, man. Thanks. You have a great Saturday, and continued, brother.
Stay hydrated.
Will do. All right, now. Peace. Love.
Peace.
All right, brother.